Board of Zoning Appeal, regular meeting agenda, Wednesday, November 6, 2024, come to order. First thing on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call vote to follow. Mr. Chandler?
Here.
Mr. Jones? Here. Mr. Green?
Here.
Mr. Lloyd is absent and excused. The chair is here. Next is approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Support. So, Mr. Chandler,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. All righty. Next is approval of the minutes of the Board of Zoning Appeals regular meeting held on August 7th, 2024.
Before you take action on that, can I tell you what we think about those minutes? That was the deranged haunted attraction that was in there. And at your meeting, I believe, Mr. Feeney mentioned that this was a request that already happened around Halloween, but then there was going to be another date in May. Well, that date he didn't know what it was, so it did not get added to your minutes. Well, we found out today it is May 11th, May 11th. So I have an inquiry in to the recording secretary. She would like me to confirm it with the city attorney, but we may be amending these to put an asterisk by that reference to future date or a date in May, a weekend in May, I think is really what the terminology is in there, and going to be adding it to that. So just so you're aware that you're approving these tonight, but there might be a little caveat if we get the go-ahead from the city attorney to handle it that way.
Okey-doke.
It just cleans up the minutes so that when somebody goes back and we say, oh, there was a date in May, well, we know the date. So we thought, well, if we could include it, we will. If we can't, we won't.
I remember they mentioned the date in May and tying it to.
An event in Washtenaw County.
That's
Right.
it, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that does jog a memory.
So basically approve them as is, but I just wanted for your reference to know that if anybody was to be looking through them, we have got nothing to do and going back and looking at them in the future, and like, oh, it's May 11th.
So potentially at the next Board of Zoning Appeal meeting,
You may have an amended copy in there that's
And then
been
we-
approved, but there may or may be that caveat in there.
along
If-
with these meetings.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much, Carol. Need a motion? On the minutes?
I move to accept the minutes of the meeting held, August 7th, 2024.
All right, support. Okey-doke. Mr. Chandler?
Yes?
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Approval of meetings, minutes has been approved. Number 5 is old business. I don't think we have any old business, Carol, do we? But we will on the next one with the minutes.
Yeah,
If they get
basically,
changed.
that would be old.
And that would fall under old business at that
Yep,
time.
yep.
All righty. Next on the agenda is new business. But before we get into new business, so normally there's 5 board members up here. We only have 4 tonight. We have a quorum, but we give the petitioner an opportunity, if you want a full board to hear your petition, that's your option, or you can just move forward with us tonight. Okay, I just wanted to bring it to your attention
That's
because
a good point.
because our alternate wasn't available either. Otherwise, we would have had one. All right. So new business is BZA 2024-005, Sheets 2, location 29225 Smith Road. The request is a variance from section 7.04B, natural feature setback of the Romulus zoning ordinance to reduce the natural features setback from 25 feet to 20 feet between the proposed retaining wall and the wetlands. Project is a gas station with convenience store and restaurant with drive-through. The petitioner like to present your project, please.
Sure, thanks. My name is Drew Miller. I'm with Skilton Gold Real Estate Development. We're the developer for this project. With me tonight is Maggie Marsh from Zoning Resources. She's going to handle, she's our signage consultant. She's going to handle the next variance item. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get into this first variance. So just a quick overview. I don't want to rehash too much of what's already in your packet there, but just to give you a little bit more background here, the site is located at the southeast corner of Middle Belt and Smith Road. It's currently vacant. There's quite a few environmental concerns on this site already, so we're going to be working to clean those up. Sheets did purchase this property about 3 months ago, so they're excited to get on site here and start remediating some of these environmental issues that we've got out here. I want to talk a little bit and just give you some more information about the wetlands that are out there, because that's what is the natural feature that is affecting this variance. So when we first identified this site as a potential location for sheets, we called up Eagle and we said, hey, can you come walk this site with us? So we did a wetland delineation report. We had an Eagle representative on site with us, and we walked the whole site and made sure that they were in agreement with the wetlands that we had delineated out there. And the main thing we talked about was how can we reduce the impact to the wetland. It works out pretty well that the high side of this site is on the southeast corner at the intersection. So, and that's where Sheets wanted to locate their store. Obviously, the main concerns that Eagle had was do everything possible to reduce that impact. And so what we ended up with here, with the site plan that I'll show you in just a second, is a 0.42 acre of impact. Now, this site currently is made up of 3 parcels, and once all the engineering is approved, the plan is to combine those parcels into 2. And so what you're seeing here, the blue on the left will be what we're calling parcel A. That's where the sheet store is going to be located. And then parcel B to the east, which is in green here, that will all be dedicated into a wetland conservation easement. As far as our Eagle permit goes, we did receive the draft permit from Eagle on June 26th. So the draft permit basically says what we're planning is appropriate, and Eagle is telling us to go ahead and take those next steps. So talk real quickly about what those next steps are. On October 10th, we provided to Eagle the conservation easement document. So this is a legal description of the property, and the exhibit you're seeing here on this picture is what will be in the conservation easement. So it's 4.6 acres to the east of the Sheets site there that will be in the conservation easement. Along with that, Sheets did purchase 0.25 acres of forested wetland bank credits from the Summerfield Wetland Mitigation Bank. So those were just those additional steps that Eagle required us to take. Now that we've submitted this back to Eagle, we are expecting that Eagle final permit any day. We hoped for it last week, but you know, Eagle's got some challenges right now, a little short staffed. So we're just waiting on that final permit to come in right now. So you can see here the sheet stores on the left side of the property, conservation easements on the east side here. So this is where we need the variance now. Like I mentioned earlier, the high side of the site was naturally on the west side of the site there. So there is this, a bit of a grade change between where the sheet store is and where the wetland is. And so what we propose is retaining wall. That retaining wall is actually going to be, kind of short. We're only expecting it to be maybe 2 feet, maybe 3 feet max in height. Now, there was an opportunity to eliminate that retaining wall, but what would happen is you would have to grade the site out to make up that difference. So then we'd be looking at maybe additional 10 to 15 feet we would need to make up that difference. And what would happen is if we did that, we would have to cut into more of the wetland. And so Eagle told us, don't do that. That was the last thing they wanted us to do. So we said, we can put a retaining wall in, and what we're going to be able to do is reduce that impact. So what you can see here, and again, this was outlined in your packet, so I just wanted to highlight here for you. But the green line is where the retaining wall is. What you're seeing in blue there, that's the existing wetlands that will be conserved. And so the 5-foot variance that we're seeking has to do with the distance between the existing wetlands, that's blue there, and the retaining wall, which is the green line. So I'm here to answer any other questions you have, but our main concern and request for the variance was all for the benefit of the wetland, to reduce that impact.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll open it up to anybody from the public at this point, right?
If anybody wants to question this, you can close this portion and open it up for the public for comments.
Okay.
I don't know if they want to talk about it or.
All right, just a clarification, this is the first time I've sat in the chair, so he put me up to it, so I'm making him give me the assist.
You're doing a great
Just
job.
at this point, I'll open it up for anybody in the audience that might want to ask questions about it, and then we'll close it for the.
So I'll close this portion of the meeting. If any member of the public would like to speak on this subject, you can at this time.
Anybody out there? They're public.
They're all with me.
So, not seeing anybody, we'll close that portion and move forward to any questions from the board.
I got one, this EGLE permit,
Yep.
you have to apply, is that already applied for, or you already have that?
Yeah, so we received the draft permit in June from Eagle. We applied originally back in about this time last year.
Oh.
And so we went through the whole process of, public engagement, and we received that draft permit, I think it was in June. Yep, so we received the draft permit June 26th. The draft permit, in accordance with that, they said, go ahead and purchase your bank credits, send us the conservation easement. And so that's what we've done since then. We provided that back to Eagle on October 10th. And from what I've heard from our wetland consultants is that once you provide that information back to them, typically you'll see your final permit within a week or two. So we're hoping to have it by the end of October. It's going a little slower than we expected, but we do expect to have that final permit here any day.
Who is EGLE?
That is the Michigan Department of Environmental Great
Oh,
Lakes.
okay, that's state people.
The state, yeah.
I thought so, but I was trying to
The
figure
name
out what.
changed. Back when you were seeing a lot of these on site plans, I think it was the DEQ,
DEQ.
Department of Environmental Quality, and before that, I think it was the DNR.
Oh,
So
okay.
you've,
Yeah.
this is just yet another new name and even a little bit more complicated.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Jones, any questions?
You said the retaining wall is going to be how tall?
We're not anticipating it being taller than like 3 feet.
3 feet?
Yeah.
And that's going to, any over spillage or anything to disturb anything in the wetlands?
It will not. So the high side of the site would be where the sheet store is, the low side is where the wetlands are. And it was a natural feature out there that the grade was kind of like that. So we're gonna level the sheet side, and what that's gonna do when we level that is it's gonna create that difference. So we had an opportunity to slope it, back towards, instead of having to do the retaining wall, but when you slope it like that, it creates a much bigger area. So we had those conversations with people pretty early on, and they said, a retaining wall is, an engineered feature that you could put in that's gonna reduce that impact, and that's really their main objective, was to reduce that wetland impact.
So we don't disturb the,
Yeah, what's existing out there is what we're trying to reduce that impact.
Carol, I got a question through the chair. What's the status of the rezoning agreement?
The rezoning agreement, we've got a few tweaks, actually, you guys have a few tweaks to make to your site plan. We're just about done with it, it's all at the administrative level. The agreement is all set to be signed, it's been approved by the planning commission, city council. So once we get that final version of the site plan, once they get their variances, assuming they're gonna get them, we can get that agreement signed and it's nearly done with the planning side of it. Did you submit engineering plans? Are they in?
We did, and we just
Yep.
received a couple comments back from Stormwater, so we're really
They're
close.
ready to go. One thing that I probably should add for your benefit that didn't get put in this letter, I wanted to explain it better. Mr. Chandler, you might remember this variance. It was about 10 years ago and before that, was we were dealing with a lot of cases with natural features. And it was not just in commercial districts, it was in industrial districts. And we had this 25-foot setback, which was generally, which at the time, it was the MDNR or MDEQ, the state that regulates wetlands. Several years ago, we changed the ordinance, and this was actually back when I was on the consultant side of things for Romulus. We were making a whole bunch of changes and updating it, so it was probably, I can't even remember the year. But anyways, this is something that's Eagles. If we were to say, no to this, but Eagle said yes, Eagle trumps us. They're their wetlands and and we've never wanted to be more restrictive than Eagle. We want to be consistent with Eagle. So that's why we took it out of certain sections of the ordinance. I honestly can't tell you if this was just missed, but it's definitely on the list of a standard to be removed, because we defer all of this to Eagle. And if they want a 25-foot setback, if they want a 15-foot setback, it's all probably case by case, with what they're looking at, but we follow their direction, and we're not gonna make it more restrictive than what Eagle wants from their wetlands. So this is probably the last time you'll see this variance request, and you haven't seen them, because for the most part, they've been consistent on other projects. It's been, that buffer's been consistent with Eagles, so. This one, maybe because it's just a retaining wall and not a,
Yeah, it's because
it-
it's the retaining wall. If the retaining wall wasn't there, we actually meet the 25-foot
Right.
setback to the asphalt.
For the
So
building,
once you-
yeah.
Yeah, 25 feet, you get to the curb and the asphalt.
Yeah.
But because that retaining wall is there, that's what
Mhm.
it's considered the variance.
right, which is probably another reason, to justify the practical difficulty. It is a more minimal one because it's a retaining wall as opposed to, a building or, a bigger structure.
So, question for the petitioner. From your drive-through lane to the retaining wall, is that 30 foot? Yeah, 30-foot fire lane. Okay, so I have the answer to the question. Yes, I just seen the 30 foot on there. All right, Mr. Green, do you have any questions?
No.
Mr. Jones, are you done? Oh, good, okay. So no more questions from the board? Looking for a motion?
Motion for approval?
Making a motion?
Yes.
All right, so when you make the motion, list these three things in it.
Where you at?
We've got a suggested recommendation for you on page 3
Page 3.
with 3 conditions, and the first one, which is the important one, is the Eagle
Eagle
Wetlands
Wetlands.
permit.
So a motion
They've got
to approve the
a
Eagle
temporary
Wetlands.
one, but this
And
is
then
the full
list those
one.
three things.
And then approval of the site plan, and then recording of the conditional rezoning agreement. Can I, before you take action, can I ask Drew one more question? You mentioned that you bought the property 3 months ago. Did you guys file a property transfer affidavit?
Do I have to read all of this?
Because our records
Oh, it's
from,
part of our application?
well, it's some, when you buy property, you have to file a property transfer affidavit through our assessor's office.
It's been reported, yeah.
Okay, because I don't, we still have it in our system as Yono Brothers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so just,
We'll get that.
yeah, we won't officially put it as a
And then I'll
condition,
just follow
but,
that.
Yeah, we'll
yep.
get it.
Yeah, if you bought it, that's wonderful. Yep,
It's
we'll
only
get it
one
changed.
second.
I'll let the assessor know tomorrow.
Okay.
So. Sorry, just a little side note. We figure if we can clean things up, we'll clean them up.
Absolutely. So, okay, we'll go back to, looking for a motion.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chandler.
All right, my motion is to approve the request for the applicant, where they're requesting a variance from section 7.04B, natural features setback of the Romulus zoning ordinance to reduce the natural features setback from 25 feet to 20 feet between the proposed retaining wall wetlands. And my motion is to approve that request for that. That would, excuse me, include the recommendations by the planning department.
I support.
You- Oh, okay.
Mr. Jones supports. All right. So we'll take a vote on this. Mr. Chandler?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion has passed. Alrighty. Next item on agenda, under new business, is BZA-2024-006, Sheets 2, location at 29225 Smith Road. Request a variance from Chapter 48, Signs, Section 48-7, specific requirements by type of sign to allow two wall signs facing Middle Belt Road where only one sign is allowed. Project is a gas station with convenience store, restaurant, and drive-through. Again, with the petitioner.
Good evening. Oh, can you hear me? My name's Maggie Marsh. I'm with Zoning Resources, and I would like to present the variance request to allow two signs on the middle belt frontage rather than one. We have a rendering over here of the building of the proposed Sheets gas station. So we would like to, the top rendering shows the frontage adjacent to Middle Belt Road. And we would like to have two wall signs on the side of the building. One would be the Sheets gas station wall sign, and then the second would be the MTO made-to-order sign. This gas station's unique because it's a gas station, but also a restaurant. So we would like the second sign because it would help customers and motorists reach the location and be able to see that they have made-to-order food. There's gonna be a drive-through on this one as well. So it's a good wayfinding on standard on Sheets properties. And then you can see at the bottom rendering is facing the north where we would have the one Sheets wall sign. We believe that the variance would be in character with other gas stations and wall signs along Middle Belt, and that it would be harmonious with the other signs that are on these streets and buildings. We believe that it is in compliance with the 7 criteria of approval, and that it would be great wayfinding for the property. The sign would be in our allowed sign area in the zoning ordinance, so this would be the only variance that we would be requesting for the sign. So it would just be to allow the one sign or the two signs rather than one. And that'll conclude my presentation, and let me know if you have any questions.
All right, thank you very much. So we'll close that portion of the meeting and open up to the public for any questions on concerns. Seeing nobody. I'll present if the board has any questions on the subject.
I get one. Oh, that's right.
Go ahead.
I assume that these signs will be identical to the ones at the Sheets facility at Wick and Sibley? Or
Yes.
Vining?
They're very similar.
Yeah,
They're-
I'm sure it would be.
Yes, very similar.
I went by there just to verify it.
I didn't click through my presentation. Here's the rest of it, too. The site plan of the proposed, and then. That's all I got. All right, thank you.
Is that all you had, Mr. Shelley?
Yeah, that was it. Thank you.
Mr. Jones, do you have any questions?
No, this,
Mr. Green, do you have any questions?
No.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You guys probably heard this last time at the last presentation when they were here. Is that, the MTO sign, is that painted on there? Is it, how's it adhered, how does it adhere to the brick?
Yeah, it is painted.
It's a painted-
It's a painted on,
it's a
yeah.
painted
It's,
sign.
unique in the sense that it doesn't have the cabinets that stick out.
Yep. I thought so.
From the last
Just
presentation.
wanted to confirm, yep. We're rewriting, I was telling Drew earlier, we're getting ready, I think, to rewrite the sign ordinance. So to incorporate things that we're actually seeing out there is very helpful. So we'll make sure that we add that. Thank you.
So that was my question.
Oh.
And because I'm familiar with the first location, and I actually like the way that looks. Yep, it makes sense with the red brick, and so that was my question.
Oh,
So, no more questions? No more questions. So I guess we're up for a vote on this. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chair. Oh, did you start?
No, yeah, go, I can do it. I move that
Okay, go ahead.
the request for BZA 2024-006, Sheets 2, on 29225 Smith Road. The applicant is requesting a variance from Chapter 48 Signs, Section 48-7, specific requirements by type of signs for installation of 2 wall signs on the Middle Belt side where only one is allowed for the Sheets development location at 29225 Smith Road. I move that we approve.
I'll second.
Permit must be applied for, received, well, wait a minute, let me get mine.
yep, that's the condition, I was gonna ask you to add that. The condition that's on page 4 of Jeff's report, which says, subject to permits must be applied for, received and approved from the building department, and all inspections must be approved. It's on page 4 in the box at the bottom.
Page 4.
Right down there. There you go, sir.
Recommendations based on the above analysis and finding, we recommend approval of the variance of BZA -2024-006 Sheets 2 at 29225 Smith Road for the installation of wall signs on the Miller Belt side where only one is allowed. Permit must be applied for, received, and approved from building department, and all specifications must be approved.
I'll second the motion.
All right. So we have a motion by Mr. Jones, seconded by Mr. Chandler. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Chandler?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That's approved. All right. Thank you very much for your patience. Good luck with your project. And your first location is dynamite.
Oh,
I stop here about once a
Yep.
week, and,
I'm there a couple times a week.
yeah, and it's gotten a lot of good feedback that I've received
Oh,
from
yeah.
it, from like family members and people in the community about it.
You hear the same thing about Mr. Carroll earlier, when we go to different jurisdictions, everybody mentions,
Well, when it comes to the state of Michigan, we got 1 and 2. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, you guys.
Item number 7 on our agenda is communications. Harold, do we have any communications?
Well, we don't have any communications except for my report. So nothing officially came to you
Okey dokey.
from any other outside source.
All righty, so the city planner status report. Does anybody have any questions concerning that?
No, not really.
I love the report.
Good,
And
good.
I love how you got it broke down, of course. And it just, and I don't see anything on it this time.
We did clean it up and take some stuff off. So which one were you looking for?
Oh, I wasn't looking for anything on it. I just,
Oh,
no, I
okay.
was, nothing has caught my eye as far as like, what's this one?
Yep. We do monthly status reports with OHM, which is our city consulting engineer. And we have this big category of projects called stalled. And we were finding that it was taking up several pages here. And sometimes when that happens, people get excited about things coming, and we wait and wait and wait and wait. So the ones that have been there for a year or so, they're still on our internal report as stalled, and they're in our electronic system. But for you guys, just, again, sometimes when these get out, and people are wondering. So we'll be very happy to bring them back if they do ever materialize. Sometimes they just never materialize. So the ones that we are really in the throes of right now is, as Mr. Frederick knows, because he's on the Planning Commission, is the Pilot Travel Center. The Planning Commission had a public hearing on that project, postponed it, needed a little bit more information, needed the site plan cleaned up some, and we've been working with them, and they are ready to go, and that meeting is November, what am I saying?
November 18th.
October. Is it the 16th?
18th.
18th. Yep, Monday, the 18th. So that's when that one will be on Planning Commission. If you're interested in watching some good TV that night, tune it in. They do a great presentation. Planning Commission does a great job with it. I don't know, Jerry, what do you think? It's one of our, it's a big project, needless to say, and it's, there's been some good back and forth, on both sides with it, and, both sides are, the Planning Commission did a great job and wanted to see some more stuff, so they're gonna get that back
Well, we just-
this month.
From Planning Commission viewpoint, I know we just want to see it done correctly, to everybody's benefit.
Yep.
City, community,
Yep.
and petitioner.
Yep,
Because it's a busy corner. It's a very prominent corner, and it's high visibility.
right.
So
So-
it's in everybody's best interest that it be done correctly.
And it's a high-level zoning process. It does require a conditional rezoning, a special land use, so there's some discretion there. Ultimately, it'll be a city council decision. But Planning Commission's done a great job at digging into it and asking some really good questions. And we're actually getting some more pieces in tomorrow from Pilot. So keeping our fingers crossed that everything's complete for you.
And I think also, we did make this mention that during the Planning Commission meeting, was that it'll alleviate some other concerns. Some is, like a mile or 2 miles away that have appeared, and this will kind of alleviate some of that. Put a few, I don't want to use the word fires, but put a few concerns to rest in
Yeah.
other locations.
Yep, and hopefully we'll get through it. You guys will be the judge, and, but no, I'm just, as being your planner, you guys, the Planning Commission's done a great job with it. These are not easy cases, and yeah, the last few, we've had some big ones, and
Well,
so we'll see how this one goes.
So,
There's a few other little things out there that, aren't to the Planning Commission level yet, but we will be seeing, probably by the beginning of the year. We've got a proposal in for the Super Y convenience store at Middle Belt and Ecorse is redeveloping to a nice, good-size market-type store, so that'll be another one, a conditional rezoning and special land use and site plan. Again, we have some pretty high level, they're not just really simple site plans, there's some good stuff with our projects, so.
Now, the one you're just talking about, the Super Y convenience store, that's gonna be another gas station.
It's gonna be another gas station, but it's gonna have a much bigger market.
So we got Pilot coming, gas station.
Pilot is, yep, right up here, and that one is at Ecorse and Middle Belt,
Right down the street.
down up the street,
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
So in the next couple of years, we're gonna have, be 4 nice size gas stations along with.
Yep, yep.
Convenience store.
convenience store. I mean, it'd be nice, you know, to have a gas station without a convenience store in 2024 is just like a no-no.
But these are, and, you know, you've probably been to Sheetz, as
Oh,
we were
yeah,
just
I
kind
was
of
there-
talking
I was there
about.
for the grand opening
They're,
and all.
they're definitely different. And
Yes.
this one for Super Y, I think it's a 10,000 square foot building. It's a good
It's like
size.
a mini grocery gas
Yeah,
station.
yeah.
There's something very similar, if we're bringing up this, on Pelham Road between Van Born and Outer Drive. It's called the Vinery.
Ah,
They just put a gas station there. It was a store for the longest time, and they just put a gas station, a BP pump islands in with it. And it's very similar to that.
huh, I'll have to check it out.
Because prior, a couple of years back, I stopped there to buy some goods to take to work. And now there's a gas station there.
Yeah,
And so you said it's, and the Super Y will be convenience store, so, like you said, a mini grocery store.
Yeah, it'll help
So
serve that
in-
side
In
of the
that
city.
area, that side of the city, do we have enough population of roofs over there?
well, the liquor store is there now, the party store is
Okay.
there, so there is a store there now. He's expanding that to add, you know, much more store space, and then adding some pumps. At the corner, there's a gas station kitty corner across. We did have a proposal on the other side of the street from Maverick, and it was a pretty intense, it had diesel with it. It was to service some of that, you know, the truck traffic going east, and that one didn't get through planning
Oh, yeah, that was
commission.
the one, Jerry deal was about, yeah. Okay. And another one you have on here, what is the sports group.
Oh, the Motown Sports Group? That one, you know, that, we've looked at a concept plan and a traffic impact study, but we haven't had a submittal recently. So that's one that's on, it's a big project, needless
Right,
to say.
because that's the, what, that one, I was, you know, somebody was showing me a video about that, of a concept. And it would be nice to utilize all the water over there. Because you can't, you definitely not, that's when you definitely not gonna fill in.
No, there's a lot taken out of there.
Oh, yes, what is it,
Yeah,
like
that,
80 feet deep, something to that nature?
That video is on YouTube.
Yes.
If you've got questions about that project, Jeff Kemp is much more involved with that one. He'll be happy to talk to you about
Right,
that if
because
you
I was
want
just
some more.
wondering where, you know, where it's going, because at first I saw him start filling all that dirt in over there, on the north, on the southwest corner of the Equals and Vine.
That's DTE, isn't it?
That's,
But that's just a little bit over
right,
to
it's
it.
north of there. It's not
Right.
that property.
Right, it's
Right.
just north of it. But it's, what, quarter of a mile maybe, you know, right down
Mm-hmm.
from Sheets, but that would be, you know, I was kind of looking forward to it. I know it put a hurting on the rack, you know, with the, depending on what all they have.
Well, they want to have where you, just a destination for your tournaments.
Okay.
And the rack doesn't do that.
No,
Right.
So it wouldn't actually, I don't think, encroach. It might actually help the rack, potentially.
I got a question. Carol, there's a building on the northeast corner of Wayne and Ecorse. It's been closed for the building for quite a few
Right.
years. I heard that there was a proposal to turn that into a Sunoco gas station.
Well, that's one project that I think we removed from this list. We started dealing with that probably right before COVID.
Right when they close the intersection.
Right, and then they did the intersection. They did have a Sunoco sign up there for a while, but that was another one. It was a gas station. It was keeping the existing, the proposal was to keep the existing building and add some pumps. But we haven't, that one,
Nothing's going with it.
yeah, nothing in a year, so.
And that was gonna have pump islands for 18-wheelers to the left of the
Right.
building. And
Now,
that's
there
where we-
is, do we have, there's another gas station right across the street from there where the subway, no,
Used to be a
Speedway
Speedway,
was.
yeah.
was. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That there, somebody did buy that piece and the other Speedway piece down further on Wayne Road. He bought both sites, and he's further along with the Wayne E-Course site than he is with the other one. We've seen some preliminary plans, but again, we don't even have that on here because it's not, you know,
Yeah, the Wayne and Wick, that site, that'd be awful small.
yeah, it's a
That'd be
small
real-
site.
That would be a real tight
Yep.
gas station.
It was a cute little tight one. It did have a convenience,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's about,
But it just, the plans aren't ready yet for planning commission review.
yeah, the
So.
one in E-course, that's not bad because that's all, you know, it's just wooded area right now.
Yeah, so.
I remember when it was total,
Oh, really?
before Speedway came around.
Another
Ah.
question.
It used to be total.
That's right, I remember all those totals that changed to Speedway.
With all these
That was
gas
Mr.
stations
Morris.
going up, I see that we got one that's got, not a gas station, but an electric charging station by Tesla.
Yep,
Oh, yes.
They're
that
gonna
is,
have all kinds of stuff there, and it's gonna be a big one apparently.
it is.
Will you be able to get gas there too?
It is right next door to the Sheets that's already here. They're kind of, they kind of go sort of together. They're part of North Point's, you know, whole
They
bigger
partner.
development there.
Oh, my.
Sheets and Tesla partnered.
Partnered,
To
right.
provide at locations.
Yep.
The option of
It's
either.
amazing.
Of
Well,
either.
we need it.
Yep, so, and,
So we don't have Sheets doesn't have no charging stations at the moment.
you know what, they had on their plans, areas that they could put them, but they were just like 2 or 3 spaces. There's not many, but this, on the Wick Road site, they're partnering with Tesla.
Yeah, when we run the process of approving planning commission, the Sheets location, Sheets 1, and that question was brought up about EV charging.
Right.
And they said that there was something in the works, that they were working on a plan. And that was the Tesla partnership,
Yeah, I remember talking
So.
about that.
which made more sense. And that while you're at the Tesla site, you just,
Yep.
Walk
Just
on over to
walk
the
over and
Sheets
get your milkshake or whatever you
So how
want.
long does it take to charge one?
depends.
Yeah, it all
All depends.
And how much is the cost?
I know, all depends too, I guess.
It's always wondering that, you know, a lot of my friends and I talk about, well, how much does it cost to charge? You know, how long does it take? I know, I would,
It all varies.
yeah, but depending on how long it take and how much you charge, I just don't buy gas.
Yeah, so just a side note, in my own personal opinion, at the E-Course and Wayne Road location where the Speedway used to be, it'd be nice if there was a lane like there is on the northbound to go east, if it was a south to go west.
So
Then clear
the,
that intersection up.
the road
greatly.
improvements, they had worked with Wayne County, you know, it's a county intersection. And they knew going into that improvement there, they were working with the county, let's just put it that way. So whatever they came up with, because we don't have the detailed plans yet, I couldn't tell you if that's what it is or
It just didn't,
not.
like I said, my opinion,
Yeah,
I think that would make
yeah.
a ton of sense for everybody involved.
They have
Yeah.
another,
Where you go north and it peels off to go
To the
east.
west, east.
So if you're heading south, peel out west.
right.
It would just
Now-
clear up the light faster.
Right, but then too, a lot of times, depending on if people notice it, they just jump down Wayne Course.
True.
Oh, right.
Which works
right.
well. And that worked
Right.
when the intersection was closed.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
that's
would
I
right.
just
would go
jump
that
Wayne,
way.
they just jump Wayne Course.
Uh-huh.
My thing too, now since we're talking about that, I'm looking at how they're doing the sidewalk, and you got a 5-foot sidewalk, and they get them perfectly sharp 90-degree turns. If you're in a wheelchair, you'll better be. It seems like they were kind of, there's some, you know, use something called a 45.
Yeah.
All right. So is there any other questions about the planner's report?
No.
Looks good.
All right, number 8 on the agenda is discussion, which we just had great discussions.
I can add one one thing to discuss. No cases came in for December, so there will not be a meeting in December
Okay.
for you guys.
How are we supposed to get Mr. Greenbrook in? Or myself in?
Well, and we talked a little, bit- you've been around, but we did talk to Mr. Green a little bit, and for all of you guys, Mr. Chandler's had a lot of this, but we are kind of gonna start the new year off and encourage training, so you will be getting some stuff. Pay attention to your emails. Do you guys all use email, or is texting better? What's the best way to communicate with you?
Email's good.
Yeah, because I'm one of the ones that, sometimes my emails start working because I have too many unread emails. I think I'm up to 80-something thousand.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't you delete them once in
It's a
a while?
collection.
Okay.
I might check my emails.
Hey,
maybe
I'm
once
fine with the
once
emails.
every 2
I'm
weeks.
constantly checking my emails daily,
don't.
so.
Oh, you have to do it.
And then like it's, when I don't hear from anybody, like I reached out like, hey, is there a meeting for November? I haven't heard anything. No, yeah, we're out delivering packages
Yeah.
now, so.
I've had my panicking moments too.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm trying
We'll-
to get better with the email because I have missed out on some pretty good opportunities. But,
So what we've done with the planning commission is we've got to be a little bit more careful with it because we can't get into any discussions, but we do texting.
Okay.
So we can, if you guys are better at texting, the thing that, like I said, what we would do is we send you that to let you know, to see if you're available for a meeting. So when we get a case in, you will know right away whether you have a meeting.
Okay.
So we send, an
An alert.
that, and we want to find out if you're going to be here or not, so we know when to pull in the alternate.
yeah, always.
And that's not discussing any business, so
But
that's
you can't
perfectly
discuss any
fine.
business, just
Yeah,
are you going
now,
to be there or not?
My
Gotcha.
text, I
So-
can keep up with my text.
Yeah, I keep up with my text too, but I do email also.
So, I mean, would you, okay,
Mine's mostly.
I mean, I'm
emails.
open
You're both.
for
I tell
whatever,
everybody,
whatever makes
give me
everybody
both
else
of them.
happy, I'm fine with it.
okay.
By carrying
I,
pictures, getting my
because
phone.
yeah, we want to make sure you guys are aware of.
Informed.
Don't want you wandering around, because like I said, because we have to schedule public hearings, you guys will know, a month in advance whether you have, whether you're meeting next month or not, so.
That'd be handy.
Yeah.
There's
so-
been times where I go home and I look,
Just a regular email.
Yeah.
no packet, I'm like, is there a
That's
meeting?
what I look for. That's what I look for, the packet.
I'll talk to Kayla, we'll make sure that we, get
That's who I
you
email,
both an
Kayla.
email and a text.
That'd work great
Yeah, so then that way.
for both
Or both,
commission
that's,
and.
that's what I have, I
yes.
got text and email, and then that way you can go back and look, scroll
Yep.
through your phone or something to see.
And you might even get Mr. Gladfelty with that.
He does, he's good with that.
Yeah, now he
He is
is.
good, yeah.
Yes, he was carrier pigeon there for a long time.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a lot better with my emails.
All right.
Because I get stuff, I mean, my lawyer used to send me stuff and call me up. Did you look at your email? My email didn't go through. Will you clear some of that stuff out? So you can get the email?
You're probably missing some good stuff.
Oh, I'll miss some good money.
Well,
So, does that conclude our discussion?
I'd just like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, since we won't have,
Yeah.
and a Merry Christmas.
yeah.
Yes, it's just gonna see each other
Yeah,
again.
probably won't see, until the beginning,
Yeah,
beginning of the
Happy
year,
Veterans
let
Day
me
coming
look
up.
at that
Thanksgiving,
date.
I'll be in
Yeah,
North
that's Monday.
Carolina.
Yeah, we got a lot of things coming
I'm
up.
trying to do.
Well, the first, I'm glad you guys brought this up. The first Wednesday in January is New Year's Day, so you clearly won't be meeting then.
See?
You will need to be checking texts and emails, because if between now and then, if we do get a case in, because in January, we set the meeting dates for the year. So what we'll do is figure out if we need to get an alternate date, like jump into the 8th or something, or if it's just no meeting in January and we just start up again in February.
So if there is a meeting, BZA would be the following Wednesday.
Possibly, I don't know. See, I don't know the schedule for this room,
Okay.
so. But that's another thing, meeting dates for, you guys are, I'm really glad I got to come tonight, because I've got all sorts of little notes here, things, I'm getting a lot done tonight. So meeting dates for 2/25, we'll get Kayla on that tomorrow morning and figure out. I haven't heard of any cases that, some of these projects, Jerry, that we're seeing at Planning Commission need variances, depending on what happens with pilot, but they wouldn't have time, to get that,
Don't seem like it, no.
yeah, get that timing in. So, I mean, if they need anything, it'd be early in the year, but we'll figure it out.
All right, we appreciate
good.
them efforts. So that concludes discussion. Item number 9 on the agenda is adjournment.
So moved.
Mr. Jones makes a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Chandler seconds it. So, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Yes?
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Meeting is adjourned.